Fahrenheit 451. Guy Montag is a fireman in a futuristic American city. In Montag's world, firemen are in charge of burning all the books. People don't read books, enjoy nature, spend time alone, think independently, or have meaningful conversations. Instead, they drive fast, watch excessive amounts of TV, and have radio sets attached to their ears. Montag meets a sweet 17-year-old girl, Clarice McClellan, who explains the emptiness of his life. In the days after this encounter, Montag's wife attempts suicide. A woman hiding books asks to be burned alive with her books instead of living without them. Clarice is hit by a car and dies. Montag becomes depressed with his life. He begins to read from a stash of books he's hidden. Montag misses work, and his fire chief, Beatty, comes to his house. Beatty explains that most firemen go through a period like this. He explains that books were banned in the first place because minority groups objected to books that offended them. Writers were told to write books that didn't offend anyone, but people continued to object. Eventually, society decided to burn all books rather than permit conflicting opinions. Beatty tells Montag he can read the books for 24 hours and then turn them in to be burned. Montag begins intensely reading. Montag is overwhelmed and he asks his wife for company, but she prefers to watch TV and doesn't understand why he'd want to read books. Montag remembers meeting a professor, Faber, and visits him for help. Faber explains to him the enormous value books contain. Faber and Montag eventually come up with a plan to disrupt society's censorship. Faber contacts a printer to reproduce books. Montag begins placing books in firemen's homes to discredit book burning. Faber and Montag communicate secretly through a two-way earpiece called the Green Bullet. Montag returns home, and two of his wife's friends visit to watch TV. They casually talk about the war, and their shallowness annoys Montag. Montag begins to read a poem in front of them. His wife tries to excuse it, but the other women file a complaint against Montag. Montag goes to the fire station with one of his books to give to Beatty for burning. Beatty explains that books are morbid and dangerously complex. The alarm suddenly sounds, and the firemen run off. They arrive at Montag's house. Montag's wife is in a cab with a suitcase, and Montag realizes his wife betrayed him by calling the firemen. Beatty forces Montag to burn the house himself and tells him that he's under arrest. Montag turns the flamethrower on one of his superiors and incinerates him. Montag knocks out the other fireman, then flees. Beatty sees the mechanical hound out to get Montag. Montag gets attacked, but manages to destroy it. Montag grabs some books he hid in his backyard, plants them in another fireman's house, and calls the alarm from a payphone. Montag then visits Faber, but realizes he is being followed by helicopters and the chase is being watched on TV. Faber tells him that he is leaving to meet a book printer in St. Louis. They separate, and Montag escapes in the river. Montag drifts downstream and eventually finds the Book People, a renegade group. They are a nationwide group of book lovers who have memorized great works. The group looks up and sees planes in the distance. The plane drops bombs on the city and everything is destroyed. The group looks for survivors and begins to rebuild society.